Okay, this is the hand that sent me on a massive tilt bender that resulted in, it happened early in the session. It resulted in roughly a 15 buy-in loss by the end of the day. This is ignition. This is a $5 sit and go. So let's walk through the hand. I have King Jack. He has 8-6. Here I flop a very decent hand, strong top pair. He has mid pair with a backdoor and junk kicker. And I'm pretty comfortable here. I'm very surprised by this. More than half of the check raises on the flop on ignition are just complete bullshit. I don't take them too seriously. But turn check raises I take a lot more seriously. Especially like min turn check raises. Min check raises on ignition tend to be very nutted. And it's sort of I'm not sure why they do that. I guess they feel that this is more likely to make you to they're trying to get you to go over the top and go crazy and jam all your chips, which I've done many times and gotten fucked for. But I mean, their plan works. But anyway, this is this move doesn't really make any sense to me from a strategic point of view, but it must his plan, but it must because he could have just checked, but or he could have just folded. Um, you know, which is probably what he should have done, but because this plan is not going to work with this is going to fail on everything for everyone on ignition except for me. I'm the only one that's going to be that this is going to work for. But here, let's continue. Here, okay, I fold. Now, as you can see, I have top two pair. There's only one 7, 8, like 9, 9, 10. There's only one straight on the board. I didn't think I didn't think he had a straight. I thought that it's much more likely to have he had a flush. Occasionally they'll do that. If they have run into a flush draw, they will raise you. And I thought that was the most probable hand that he could have had. I had a flush blocker. Um, I've said to myself on zillions of occasions, well, I can't have a flush. I have a flush blocker. Yes, they always have the fucking flush when you have a flush blocker. If you analyze the probability of someone having a flush when you have a flush blocker, there's only a slight decrease in their. It doesn't. A flush blocker is not like a straight blocker. It doesn't have a real dramatic increase. It doesn't dramatically affect the probability of your opponents having of your blocking opponent's hand. Now, I think that here's the only thing that I can take from this, because I need to either if I can't see, I work, this is anonymous, so I have to work under default rules, which is players on ignition don't generally jam all their chips unless they have the nuts. It's very rare that they're making a bluff. However, this guy defies sort of um, the poker physics of ignition. Okay, and because it's anonymous, you can end up losing a lot of money by just going with your sort of default, which is they're not making these all-in bluffs. Okay, so if one guy's doing it and you could be playing all day, you could get really fucked. And I got myself very fucked. So I have to either stop playing poker, okay, because I can't deal with the tilt, um, you know, or I have to make better decisions. The only way I'm going to have to get beyond the tilt is to make better decisions, because what creates tilt is bad decisions. Now, I felt as though that there was a strongly, like what sent me on the tilt bender is that I felt that there was a strong likelihood that I was being fucked. And I was actually right. but it turned out because, I got the hand the next day and I evaluated it and it's like, yeah, you were fucked. But the only thing I can take here from this, and try to sort of learn from, and a way of sort of moving forward into the grayness of poker, is um, why didn't he make an all-in bet? He should have made an all-in bet. There's no reason not to. And what recreational players will often do is do sort of type in their bets. This is all in. It's all of my money, but it's not all in. It would have been just easier for him to just shove. But what they will often do is type in a number. Sometimes it's often not like more than what I have. It's sort of like they'll type in like a like 762 or something funky. Okay, they'll do it like an almost all-in bet, but it's like a weird manual bet that doesn't make any sense. If he has the nuts, he's going to just be really, most of the time, they're going to be just really anxious to just get all my money, jam all their chips, but they're making these funky bets. So I think if you look, I had top two pair here. Okay, there's a strong likelihood that he had like an 8-7, something like that. But again, even if he had 8-7, I think that most recreationals are still going to be nervous here. They're not going to be jamming all their chips with an 8-7. Or like a 7-2 or an 8-2 or something like that. It's especially not with the potential flush on the board. So moving forward in the future, when I'm going to just sort of override my default policy, and when I see like when I have it was just like, look, I had top two pair. I'm beating. I didn't think he had two pair at this point. Actually, I really didn't. Um, it, I don't think it would have mattered if I had top two pair. Um, but if I feel that the player is funky, and I don't really remember how this player was playing before this hand, but if I feel he's funky, if there's anything that leads me to believe that he's funky, that I have a flush blocker, that he's doing weird non-standard shit, like not jamming all the chips. He's like doing a manual bet, which it's just insane. Why would you do that? It's just not done. It is done, but it's just highly fucking unusual. That just didn't make any sense. I just have to say, fuck the poker gravity of ignition. I'm just going to call. I'm just going to make the hero call. And, because if I do, Yeah, I guess if I make a bad call, it's going to probably tilt me. But yeah, I'm already tilted making, bad, not making hero calls when I guess my gut instinct tells me that there's something fishy going on. But anyway, that's all I can tell you.